Yo, what's up? Have you ever felt the urgent need for some vacation? Yeah, of course, me too. The last time I felt that, uh, we packed our bags and left. We headed to the North Sea coast of Germany, and in Germany, that's pretty much the furthest distance to travel from our place. And with me, I took the Rolleiflex Automat and my newly acquired 35mm camera, the Kodak Retina 2A, and here I had loaded some Agfa-Photo APX 100, and for the Rolleiflex I had several color and black and white film. With nothing but summer at the seaside in mind, we started the journey that should have taken around 7 hours, but of course, due to the typical German traffic and the Autobahn conditions, it got later and later, and the countryside got flatter and flatter. Sometime we arrived in our accommodation, and of course it was raining as a wet welcome of the unpredictable coastal weather. The next day, though, it was bluebird skies with lots of wind, and so of course we did the most intelligent thing and drove to the beach. You may have heard that wind and sand are not the best conditions for photography with old cameras that are not dust and splash resistant. Nevertheless, we went on to get a glimpse of the most famous German lighthouse, the Westerhefer Lighthouse. You may have seen it in some beer commercials for some pretty shitty beer. But I have to admit, the lighthouse is pretty photogenic. Though not from this spot. In this image, I really wish the Rolleiflex had a little bit more reach or interchangeable lenses, because the lighthouse in the center is so small you can't even see it. And it's beautifully framed, but yeah, it's simply too wide. In this one, the same thing. Again, the lighthouse much too small. A lot of foreground that looks great, and the lighthouse that maybe the subject is too small, you can't see it. Same thing here. Again, too small. But maybe that's an excuse for buying another medium format film camera with interchangeable lenses. It's always good to have some reasons and excuses for buying new camera stuff. The same evening we had the most amazing sunset at the Salt and Pepper restaurant, and I have to admit, I quite like the images I got there. I shot a roll of Portra 160 and 400 that day in the Rolleiflex, and these may be the best ones of the whole trip, so do not get too excited. In these images the colors of the Portra 400 really shine. Nice subtle colors, little pastelly, that's so cliche. Here we have a long exposure. I really dig this image. It's so calm. The next day we visited the Westerhever lighthouse again, this time from up close. The light was quite promising the whole day, but as usual it really was not on our side at sunset. But it was a nice walk at least. I have to admit, I do not go on vacations to have nice walks or too much relaxing time. I go on vacation to take some photographs. So here are the images anyway. The next day it was time to leave and head for the island of Amrum. The weather was very kind and sunny there. The only downside of islands, of course, is the wind. And man, did we have some wind. On Amrum one shouldn't bring a car too. The ferry is more expensive and there are not many parking places for foreigners. So the smartest way to get around the island is renting a bicycle or taking the local bus. Otherwise, the foot bus, as we say in Germany, is always on time and it keeps one moving. So, on Amrum there is a lighthouse, of course, and it's the almost only thing to photograph. And so we photographed it. This image may be my favorite of the whole trip. Nice leading lines, we have a little bit of sunshine from the left, the shadows on the right. I really love this image. The sunset was really nice, but the sun was setting in a little bit of wrong direction for our photo spot. That night, the Northern Lights activity was promised to be quite high, even that far south as Germany. Though that far north, on the other hand, in Germany, it really didn't get quite dark enough for seeing them at all. But until we realized that fact, we had already been waiting in the dunes in the wind for several hours. I brought a roll of Cinestill 800T just to photograph the northern lights on film. Even though we didn't see them, I loaded the Rolleiflex with that 800T and took a shot of the lighthouse and the moon. It turned out a lot better than I imagined. I guess it won't win any awards though. So I had a almost fresh roll of 800 speed film loaded, and the Rolleiflex is limited to 1/500th of a second shutter speed. I had to put on ND filters to get the shutter speed in that range without closing the aperture down too much, but that's no problem, of course. The next days were just about exploring the island and having some walks at the beach and in the dunes. I popped in a roll of Ilford HP5 Plus, which I, for the first time, pushed 2 stops to increase the contrast. After finishing the roll of Agfa Photo APX100 in the Retina, I loaded a roll of good old Gold 200 to get some color images. And of course, we did some more sunset photography as well. We went to the smallest lighthouse in the world, but that evening the weather was too hazy and so we didn't get that sweet red and purple light and also no pink clouds. And that was our last evening on Amrum. Amrum has been very windy, but beautiful and quite slowing down compared to the city hustle and bustle we normally live in here in southern Germany. On our way back home, we decided to stay one more night near the Westerhever lighthouse to get some banger sunset shots, because we didn't get them the first time being there. But what can I say? It was quite a bummer. The light was not happening, and the spot we had researched was not accessible, even though it should have been according to the signs at the parking lot.
Yeah, this pathway is pretty shitty. And by that I mean full of sheep shit.
And with that evening, the trip ended. But I guess that's just how it goes sometimes. And everyone doing photography, especially landscape photography, experiences things like this every now and then. So I took some images to finish the roll of Portra 400 at the roll flex, because I can, of course, but maybe not according to my bank account. There you have it, guys. That was our trip to the North Sea coast of Germany. If you liked this video, let me know in the comments, leave me a like and maybe also a subscribe. It's free, it means the world to me, and until the next time, thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.